The attack didn't begin with malware or a phishing email. It started with something far more sophisticated, an invisible heist that began weeks earlier. Unknown to WPP, someone had been collecting every public recording of CEO Mark Reed they could find. Conference talks, interviews, press clips, even internal videos that had leaked onto the internet. Piece by piece, scammers were feeding those samples into an AI engine powerful enough to recreate his voice, his mannerisms, even the subtle way he tilts his head when he speaks. By the time the trap was ready, the scammers had something chilling. A near-perfect digital replica of the most influential leader in the advertising world. And they used it with surgical precision. A senior WPP employee received an invitation to a Microsoft Teams meeting. Nothing unusual. The timing matched the CEO's schedule. The meeting title looked legitimate. When they joined, the CEO was already there, sitting calmly, speaking in his usual tone, acting exactly like himself. No static, no uncanny glitches, just a familiar face and a familiar voice. But behind that flawless facade, nothing was real. It wasn't Mark Reed. It wasn't his voice. It wasn't even a pre-recorded clip. It was a live deepfake, an AI-controlled puppet engineered to manipulate trust inside one of the world's largest advertising companies. The employee didn't know it yet, but they weren't talking to their CEO. They were talking to a ghost wearing his face. The senior WPP employee had no reason to doubt anything. The moment they joined the Microsoft Teams call, the CEO welcomed them by name, warm, confident, and perfectly in character. His voice carried the same cadence they'd heard in countless board meetings. His expressions matched every familiar mannerism. Even the background behind him looked exactly like his real office. But something else was happening behind the scenes. The scammers weren't just playing a video. They were controlling a live, responsive deepfake in real time. Every nod, every blink, every micro-gesture was generated on the fly, synced flawlessly to an AI-cloned voice that responded instantly to whatever the employee said. As the meeting went on, the fake CEO began steering the conversation toward urgency. He hinted at a confidential financial situation. He insisted the company needed immediate action. He framed it as a matter only a handful of executives could know about. Something that made the employee feel chosen, trusted, responsible. And that was the moment the scammers needed. They had built the perfect illusion. Now they were preparing to weaponize it. The shift from conversation to manipulation didn't happen in a single moment. It unfolded gradually, like a trap tightening one silent click at a time. The senior WPP employee was still fully convinced they were speaking to their real CEO. The lighting, the voice, the timing, everything felt familiar. So when the fake CEO changed his tone, lowering his voice and leaning closer to the camera, it didn't raise alarms. It felt like the beginning of a confidential conversation. He told the employee there was an urgent financial complication, something serious, something developing fast. He implied that only a handful of executives across WPP even knew about it. He spoke with that calm, rehearsed authority that high-level leaders use when delivering sensitive news. And because the scammers controlled the deepfake in real time, they mirrored every emotional beat: concern, urgency, reassurance, secrecy. What the employee didn't know was that the scammers had spent days preparing this script. They studied internal documents, public statements, corporate patterns, anything that would help them mimic the CEO's language. They referenced real WPP projects. They mirrored internal terminology. They used acronyms exactly the way the real CEO would. They even replicated his specific pauses, the ones he used before asking someone to handle a difficult task. Then came the ask. Not bold, not obvious, strategic. First, The fake CEO asked the employee to confirm their level of financial access. It sounded casual, like a routine operational check. Then he steered the conversation toward payment channels, internal fund movement, and authorizations. He framed it as a time-sensitive issue that couldn't go through the usual chain of approvals. The scammers layered psychological pressure with precision. They used urgency. "We can't wait on compliance for this." They used secrecy. "No one else can know yet. I'm trusting you with this." They used responsibility. "You're the only one positioned to help quickly." And all the while, the deepfake CEO kept eye contact, blinking naturally, reacting to every word the employee said, as if he were sitting just a few feet away in a real boardroom. Slowly, the scammers pushed toward their goal: a transfer of funds and access to internal financial systems. They needed the employee to act fast, before they had time to verify anything with another executive. Each request built on the last, tightening the psychological trap until questioning the instructions would feel disloyal, even dangerous. To the employee, this wasn't a fraud attempt. It wasn't a deepfake threat. It was their CEO asking for immediate support during a crisis. And that was exactly what made it so deadly. The illusion didn't shatter, it slipped. As the fake CEO pushed for final confirmation, the senior WPP employee felt something shift. The urgency was too sharp, the pressure too direct. It wasn't suspicion yet, just a quiet instinct that something was off. Then the details started whispering. A picture frame slightly misaligned, a reflection on the glass that didn't match the lighting. Tiny imperfections the brain catches before the mind understands. The breaking point came with a simple question, one only the real CEO could answer effortlessly. The deepfake hesitated. Not by much, just a half-second pause. But for someone used to the real CEO's pace, it felt wrong. That was enough. The employee stepped away from the call under a polite excuse and messaged another executive to verify the CEO's schedule. The response was immediate and chilling. The real CEO wasn't on any team's call. He wasn't discussing finances. He wasn't even at his computer. In that instant, everything clicked. The perfect voice, the perfect face, the flawless mannerisms. None of it had been real. Security was alerted. Systems were locked down. The fake meeting was cut off mid-sentence. And as WPP's cybersecurity team dove into the logs, one fact became clear. The company had narrowly escaped a financial and operational disaster, all orchestrated by an AI-generated impersonation so convincing it nearly fooled leadership. This wasn't just a scam. It was a warning shot at the entire corporate world. WPP moved fast. The breach was contained, the system secured, and the employee cleared. But the message was unmistakable. AI had crossed a new line. If a CEO could be duplicated this perfectly, no executive, no company, no industry was safe. This attack wasn't about one meeting. It was a preview of what's coming. And in a world where deepfakes can hijack leadership itself, every business now faces the same question. How do you defend against someone who can steal your voice, your face, your identity? For companies that want real protection, Tileris is building AI-driven defenses designed for cyber threats. Visit Tileris.com to stay ahead of what's next. And if you found this story eye-opening, hit subscribe to keep these investigations coming.